All right, good morning everyone. This is update. It's experiment time. So this pond project has polypropylene liner, so it's a harder plastic material, and we use EPDM all the time, which is more of a rubber-based compound, and it's a lot easier to use. It folds really easy, it's a lot softer, but it's way heavier. So attaching those two things together, according to the internet, should not be done, or is not recommended. But I've heard from a couple sources from other pond contractors that it can be done, but I've never done it. And so we're experimenting, and this is what I came up with. Normal Firestone quick prime that we use for EPDM all the time. I got a chunk of EPDM liner, and I also have a chunk of the polypropylene liner. EPDM primer, let it set up, seam tape, and then prime the poly, let it set up, and it stuck really well, but get yourself a heat gun, and once you get it stuck together, heat this up really well, and it really melts and welds those two together enough where you can see, as I was pulling this apart, that the seam tape is definitely sticking to the poly just as well, if not better, than it did to the EPDM. I pulled this apart while it was still fairly warm, so it was easier to do. You let this set up a little bit longer, it won't be as easy to pull apart, but this is what you end up with. And so you go to pull this stuff apart, and it takes quite a bit of effort. The seam tape is actually sticking to the poly better than it did to the EPDM, so it's actually staying. So for everyone out there on the internet says you probably shouldn't do it, it's not recommended from the factory, by all means it's probably better just to have a poly liner to a poly liner, or EPDM to EPDM. You'll probably get a better bond, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to get a watertight seal with that, especially after we put our cover tape on, or 6-inch cover tape over the top of that. We will have 2 watertight seals, and we should be good to go. So we'll see what happens. It's a lot easier to do this stuff in the bed of a truck trailer than over there in the pond, but we will see. All right, we got another update. I did not do a good job yesterday after we left, and I didn't videotape everything we got done. So this is what it looks like. So we got the seam done, and then we got it covered up with the existing gravel that's here, and then we got a couple more rocks to do in each one of these corners to finish it off. So we'll add a few more right here and blend it out, and same with this side. But other than that, this thing is actually technically ready to run, at least halfway. So this morning we got up here and we got our plumbing ran all the way back over there, and this line here is connected to the existing pump. And so if we had water filled up in here, we could run it on our just the waterfall pump, but we don't, so sad day. But that's what we got done yesterday. We trenched it out. I'm sorry if this wind noise is probably gonna be terrible. And got our pipes glued up. We have a electrical stub out because we're going to need power to run that sump pump that we had to put in there. So I was nice enough to throw a nice 2-inch conduit for the electrician so they can run an outlet out here. There's a existing box with the existing electrical for the pump over here. So they should be able to tie off of that, run a line down and extend it. But we got our 2 lines ready for our pump, that one glued in for the existing one, and our conduit. So now I just need to backfill. We have been blessed with a couple of days of dry weather. The mud has finally dried out, and we're going to take advantage of it, get all this covered up this afternoon, and try to get it slicked off enough where it doesn't hold water, because it's going to rain again in the next 2 days, 3 days, and we won't actually be on the job site. So we got some clean outs we need to get done. So hopefully it's not a muddy mess when we get here. Not high hopes, but we can try. You guys have a good one.